Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, the tariff war escalated. How? China imposes 125% tariffs on the US goods. It seems like the Chinese matched now the Americans. So, I have 3 articles here ready for you discussing this bluff that actually I think backfired on us, the Americans, which is it shows the US's limits, which is they can't fight everybody. They have to focus only on China in order to attempt to win. Remember, Donald Trump, the Trump administration, the United States of America, imposed sanctions to a big array of countries, saying we're going to match and the tariffs. Okay, as I say sanctions, I meant tariffs. So they expected that everybody or most of these guys are going to just run away scared, run for cover. But some did not and some did. And that showed the limitation. Why? Because the United States of America, Trump, paused. He doesn't show that he lost. I'm pausing for 90 days the tariffs on everybody else except China. So that means, well, I impose tariffs on all this number of countries, which I can't fight them all at once. I said it. So when some of them said, well, we're going to impose back, we're going to fight with you, say, I didn't expect this bluff not to work. Therefore, you know what? In order to win, we have to take it one by one because we can't fight them all. Therefore, we dropped everybody else and remained to China. Only one country, one-on-one. It can't take the Europeans in the same time and other countries. That's why I said Trump's bluff, or maybe, I don't think it was a miscalculation. I think he knew, but he hoped that everybody else is going to get scared and is going to do what he says, which is, we're sorry, you're going to drop and negotiate. China, it seems to be a country that says, you know what, we're strong enough to have a tariff war with you. And that's exactly what happens. I have 3 articles here discussing the new tariffs. Let's read them. The first one, Trump tariffs live updates. China hits back. Hikes tariffs on US goods to 125% from 84%. China on Friday struck back at President Trump's ballooning tariffs, raising its duties on imports of US goods to 125 from 84%. Now, this is a piece of S article because it already shows you they root for China. Why? So China struck back at Trump's. No, it's Trump actually, by imposing the tariffs, he represents the United States. Now, if this article would have been made in order to, again, hits back. If this would be made, to support the United States of America, this first little sentence would not have been written like this. All right? They would put some adjectives and other things here. Now, President Trump's ballooning tariffs, raising its duty on imports on U.S. goods. All right, so because of these guys, this is the implication. Because of these guys, we, United States, will lose, or it's going to be hurt by China. China had to do it, right? That's what they say. The countermeasures, you see what words these guys speak, will come in on Saturday, further intensifying a U.S.-China trade war that has roiled U.S. stocks. The trade conflict has weighed on investor sentiment, even as Trump instituted a 90-day pause on a steep Liberation Day tariffs and the EU matched a U.S. pause on retaliatory duties. So you said, okay, we're going to pause it as well. We're going to be nice with you until you get rid of China, and then maybe you're going to talk to us. What do you think the Americans will do to them? If the U.S. would be able to, let's say, calm down China, what do you think it's going to do? Okay, Europe, now it's your turn. So I think if the Europeans would have been real and look for their interests, now would be the time to get in a war for their own interests. But they think they're going to be spared. Why? Because they are cowards. That's what coward people do. They're, oh no, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to join this fight with China against the US because I'm going to be looked as what? Friend of China? Is that why we are here, about morality and the angles, the look? No, my friends, now you join. It's going to be 2-on-1, and after these guys are going to back the fuck off, We won, those guys won. We can have common interests at time, even though they are the adversaries. But no, they don't. They say we're going to wait until the US maybe destroys China on one-on-one tariffs. And after they do that, we're going to beg for forgiveness and the Americans will say, yes, but we raised the taxes, the tariffs, you're going to have to drop them. We're going to impose. So that's the way it works. In real life, who do you think are in charge of these countries and unions? Human beings with the same psychology as you have and I have as human beings. So that's exactly what's going to happen. So the Europeans right now, I think they work against their own interests. Why? They're not their own union or country, however we want to call it. All right. So let's go back to see what the Americans will do. Beijing hinted it would draw a line under further tariff hikes, even if Washington continues its escalations. The White House clarified on Thursday that U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports are now at least 145%, not the 125% that Trump has said previously. All right, next one. New voice of Ukraine. China raised U.S. tariffs to 125% in retaliation to Trump. So instead of saying, okay, when you want to solve a problem, let's say you see two people, see me go outside and smack someone. You say, well, Emil, you were aggressive to Gigi. You smacked the guy. All right, but I say, yeah, but you see, the guy smacked my kids and my wife at the mall. What would you say? And then the guy smacks me back again. He's retaliating against me, or he was the initiator. So you have to understand in an investigation to assign guilt or who started. You have to go with a chronology of events. Who started this? Did you slap my family at the mall? Yes. Now I'm going to fuck you up. Now, if you try to scratch me back, you're not retaliating, actually. You continue your initial aggression towards me. So you hit my family, I smack you, and now you scratch me? I'm going to fuck you up now. So who's retaliating here? You are the initiator. I am the guy who retaliates. I am the guy who matches your tariffs, China. However you want to take it. And if you think that's unfair from us, how about we have different? China drops its tariffs, and we have higher tariffs than them. Why not? Oh, we're going to harm us. So that means the Chinese are harming themselves and somehow they are the second economy? My friends, it's a war, and I don't think Trump is a baboon on this one. Not because he's, how should I put it, a genius or something. He's got his advisors. I don't know how much he listens to those advisors. But you can say if someone punches you 3 times, and that's okay, you just punch back once, because you just get punched 3 times, you can be punched 50 times. And I punch back 3 times and match his things. Oh my God, I just matched what you said. It was good for them. So it must be good for me? No, we don't have the same rules. Economic rules, or how do you want to call them? China will raise tariffs on all U.S. goods from 84% to 125% starting April 12 in a sharp counter to Donald Trump's latest 145% levy on Chinese imports. So they didn't even go to that. They didn't even match it. So they're under. All right, let's go to the next one. So here, the volley began on April 2nd when Trump imposed reciprocal tariffs. No, the volley began. The volley began when these guys had more tariffs, higher tariffs than we had. We, the United States of America. That's when it started. So no, the counter started, not the volley. You see, we play volley here, right? No. This is the how do you call it, retaliation. The retaliation of the U.S. started on April 2nd when Trump imposed reciprocal, that means equaling, right? Tariffs, almost, you give me this, I give you that, affecting 185 countries. That was the bluff. Setting a 10% baseline, including Ukraine. So what? Well, Ukraine is a special boy. And 34% rate for China, which combined with a prior 20% fentanyl-related duty from March totaled 54%. China retaliated, okay, on April 4 with 34% tariffs on U.S. goods and exports. Okay, raising it to what? Oh, we don't know. All right. Trump doubled down on April 9, hiking China's rate to 104%, prompting Beijing's same-day jump to 84%. Later, Trump pushed U.S. tariffs to China 145% for lack of respect to the world's markets. So you see, He's already losing here. He's trying to hide behind virtue signaling, virtue and morality. They're bad, dude, for all of us. See, everybody is with me here. Is lack of respect for the world's markets. Really? Who imposed sanctions on Russian gas in Europe? Is that not the world's market anymore? And you then brought your liquefied natural gas 4 to 5 times premium price compared with the Russian gas. Wasn't that the guys who ran out is crying about the respect of the world's markets? That means you made the Europeans in baboons who imposed them sanctions on themselves actually pay 4 to 5 times more on a product. Where's the world market? Morality. Stop with that one. All right. So let's go to the last article coming from Russia Today. 11th of April 2025. China hits back at US with 125% tariffs. Beijing move is a response to 125 duties announced by the White House. So we got it. We got it. So what's going to be next? Well, one of these guys must crack. Will crack. The problem is who's going to save face. I think the Chinese said that's one thing when you say something, and the other thing to be able to do it. They said that we will fight this tariff war till the end. The end is when you get knocked out. The end is when you knock out the other person. The end is when you come to an understanding. What do you think will happen? I think they will figure things out. I don't think Trump is going to raise the tariffs to 3,592. And I don't think the Chinese would raise their tariffs to, 4,999. I think at one point, Trump would show us, everybody, that he is the better man and say, you know what? The Chinese people are hurt. The global market is hurt. Our Americans don't like this. And I am like a god. I will dispense peace and tranquility. And I say, China, I will send you an olive branch with a... Just joking here, my friends. No. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to the same thing they do in Ukraine. The same garbage. In Ukraine, they lost. That is, they couldn't destroy Russia, they couldn't take over, and they couldn't pull a Gaddafi on Putin. Therefore, they lost. And now they play, the US, plays as a mediator. I'm the mediator between these two baboons, the Ukrainians and the Russians. And they're going to have a peace, this and this peace, that. We are the guys, we're negotiating. No, you're negotiating for the losing side. That's what you are. You're not a mediator. But they have to save face. And the Russians let them. Why? Because the same thing the Chinese probably will let them hear when the Americans will say, we are, as I said, we are, stop. The Chinese will say, okay. But we all know we lost again, and the limitations, our limitations get like this on the world market. China is not afraid. China has a big market over there. China is on the same par with Russia because China knows that if they break away with Russia and Russia falls economically and all that, then, and these guys are taking over, they are next. As the baboon Europeans right now, yeah, we post for 90 days. You are next. You are next. It's not about friendship and allies. These are terms for the baboons. There's no such a thing. We're allied in order to, fleece the other guy, to, rob the other guy. Once we rob the other guy, we cut the deal. I'm giving you this because I'm in charge. I take this, and next time, if you're the victim, I'm going to have other allies to get on you. That's the way it works. So in here, the Europeans don't play that. They're afraid. Because they know if they're going to do this, Trump might cut the deal with China and go and swift into the Europeans. And they are not certain that the Chinese will do the same thing. Why? Because the Chinese already have the Russians. They have other markets. They have other partners. And I'll use just Russia as an example. The European Union has nothing. The European Union cut its ties with everybody else because this narcissistic United States of America bully boy said so. So they depend on the US. So if now they join with China and Trump says, okay, China, stop. I'm going to stop for a while. I'm going to destroy these guys. What are these guys going to do? Who's going to jump to make common front with the Europeans? Nobody. Because the Europeans, including the Great Britain, were America's jackals. America's vassal states. That's what they were, and they still are. And nobody's going to save them because nobody's going to say, now it's your turn. We're all going to be watching. Give me my popcorn and watch how Europeans are smacked by their bosses. Why? Because they dared. That's why they don't intervene, and they're okay with the pause. Has this ever happened to you when you are in traffic driving and then someone is aggressive and tries to do something and say, all right, I'm going to leave this person get in front of me, even though you could have been aggressive too and block him. But and say, maybe I let him in, and this is the mistake, with the thought that hope is bad. Hoping that the person going in front of you is going to go further, is going to go, you're just going to avoid confrontation and he's going to go away. But no, he's going to stay in front of you and all of a sudden start driving slowly. That means affecting your life. And you say, why did I let this guy go in front of me as a goodwill gesture? And now he's in front of me controlling my life. Why didn't I just accelerate, let the guy go behind me, and I would be in charge of his life? But I was good, and now he's in charge of me. It happened to you. It happened to me many, many times before. So no, why are you not in charge of your own destiny instead of allowing others to dictate by this situation how they're going to drive? Why should I drive the way you drive? I want to drive the way I drive. I'm going to fuck you up because I don't want to be at your command. The same with the Europeans. The Europeans are at the US's command and they wait on the US command, and they're going to wait for the Americans to dictate. Why? Because they're weak. They're afraid. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.